is there anything that you would like to say to those of us in New Zealand on this land at this time that Lou and I are upon? And
this land, this New Zealand, is very delicately balanced. It is of old Lemuria, but it is indeed new Lemuria. Why do I say this in contradictory words? Old, new. Because this land rose much later than other lands. Lemuria kept it down for a period of time, and then allowed it to rise above the waters after the rest had risen and settled and dried. And this land was the young land. And within this land are many deposits of crystal, recorded with the energy of Lemuria. Crystals that you humans will not find. You may feel the resonance, you may walk upon the lines of energy, but you will not find, no matter how far you deep and dig. You see, you cannot find an energetic crystal, but you can feel it, and you can tap into it. And your New Zealand has many places where these energetic crystals are buried. And you will feel them, and you will begin to triangulate them. And they will move you more from the old ways of doing things. And when I say old ways, I mean ways that you had to work at while the veil was very thick. But now it is easier to contact us. It is easier to speak with us. You do not need all the old ways of doing things. You do not need to follow what another says through the cards. You do not need to follow what another says through this or that means. But what you can do is listen to what they say and see what is said and see if it serves you within this new time. And feel into the energy and into the land that speaks to you from this very soil that it has created around it. Do not just look at your history that is the white man's history or the brown man's history. Look beyond that. For there is a history of this land that far dates when humanoids were here.
how far back would that be?
You have oral stories of a great fisherman that fished your land out of the waters. And while I will not say that this is not, shall we put it, gospel truth, it is based within oral history of a great Lemurian who actually travelled around seeking land that was of crystalline resonance. And while the fish-shaped land may not have been pulled out of the water, for it was already risen when he found it, but what he found was the energy that he was able to tap into for his people that came after him. He was able to leave for them a history that they could understand. for they truly do connect with the stars. But even before they came, there was yet others that walked upon this land. Others that were of energy and not of human physicality form.
Who were they?
They were the non-humans that I referred to. But they not just walked on this land, they have walked on many lands. And they were the ones that, shall we say, tended this land and helped keep the cloud that covered it for so long in such a way that it hid from prying eyes. Some stumbled across this land and began to stay. And they stayed because one reason only. They felt into the land, and they knew that this land was healthy. It was not sick as in other places. So you have a mixed culture on this planet, but especially upon this land, this New Zealand. In fact, its name is not even the New Zealand, that is the English. It is not the Maori name either.
What is the name of this land?
The name of this land is Niha Norea Cresciando Niso, land of the crystals, birth of the land. For this is the birthing place that many crystals were born and removed for placement in other areas.
Wow.
Your New Zealand, your New Zealand, Aotearoa, is ancient beyond even your human understanding. But it is younger than even your scientists realize.
How is that?
Because it has been hidden within the time lapse or the time foldings. And so whilst it has been of old Lemuria, it has been well guarded within the timelines until it was ready for it to be exposed.
So what can one do with this information at a heart ascension level?
When one travels the length and breadth of your land, have with you a receptor in your heart that you would know where you travel is not just dust, but it is memory. And even in the places where a part of the culture in this place keeps sacred and away from everyone else, these should be shared. For in these places there is not so much taboo, not so much of the spirits that are upset, but more of the energy of the crystal that is aching to be released, aching to be recognized, which is why there is always the disturbance in the air and disturbance of the energies when people walk past it or go through it. And it has been interpreted as being taboo. Such a shame. But this is not entirely at this place. There are many nations where the indigenous or so-called indigenous people of the land protect certain areas because they understand at a deeper level that there is something there. But they do not fully understand the strength of what they have.
So how do we uncover at these levels, or any levels, the value of the energetic symbolism of the crystals? What are we supposed to do with these?
You triangulate.
Explain, please.
When you walk the land, or feel the land, as you are doing, as others have done and written about, you find the areas of the power points and you make the central points. For they are not just one major triangle. There are many major triangles and smaller triangles. And when you find those points that intersect, those are places where you may hold gatherings that will bring release for many people. Where words may be spoken not just for sharing in a channel situation or a communication, but words will be shared heart to heart. Where people who need that depth of touch will be changed. But it is not a place for people to stay. It is a place for them to go, be revived, and then go back to revive the place they came. For we are not on a journey of staying around a single place if we feel good. We are on a journey of change. We are on a journey of bringing those who are in darkness to our side of the light. And we cannot do that if we are all confused and running around like chickens with our heads cut off. And while we are sitting in one place and another saying, we are ascending. No, we are ascending. No, we know the way because we do it this way. No, we do it this way. Like I said to you this morning, it is time to let go of the individuality, of the feeling of that I am unique, therefore I must be this way. You humans need to realize that the reason for your separation and wars and dissolutions and inability to communicate is because you all have this way of looking at oneself as being more important than the other. Oh, you may say that you love them. You may say that you have compassion. But when it comes down to it, as your terminology is, when the rubber hits the road, there is only one person that you look after, and that is yourself. And you need to put this aside. You do have one thing in common, and that is a sense of self-preservation. And it is this very thing that can unite you. But not in the way that you think. It is a way when you come to realize that there is a better way, a way of compassion, a way of unity, where you realize that there is enough to go around and that you do not need to identify yourselves as being white or black or brown or red, but human. That you do not need to identify yourself as English speaking or Spanish speaking or Shona speaking or Dutch, but you have a universal language that everybody can hear and understand. It is about time that you looked at this fantasy that you put it as the hive mentality, as a reality. And I am not saying that you lose your identity, no. For I understand that you humans are very attached to this. What I am saying is that your uniqueness can make you whole. Your uniqueness can bring you together if you understand that as a human, you are all unique and all one. That you all need the same basic things. And if you come together with one basic thought, and that is survival, you will begin to function and create in a very strong way. Perhaps I have said too much.
Not at all. Appreciate your communications.
It is time that we receive our own time again and leave this vessel. But we have shared what we shared, not just for the sake of those who are in this room listening, but for those who will listen after.
Thank you. Thank you, my friends on the council. Thank you.
Until we meet again.
Namaste.
Greet you yet again. We have been requested by this one to place ourselves before you in a manner of what you call questions and replies. So we have come again. We thank you for this debate and interaction. What questions have you? Has anyone got any questions? Anything at all?
Yeah, I'd like to ask about this land of ours, which doesn't appear to be inhabited that long by humans. Is that correct? And the follow-up to that is, apart from the obvious things that I can see the impact of humans, what else have humans done here that is making New Zealand so attractive and so moving into the new energy?
As we have, not in front of many, but we have indicated in prior conversation, this New Zealand, or this land that was prepared, is part of the old, but yet the new Lemuria. It was birthed in a place that has a lot of history that has been wrapped up in the peoples and the groups that have landed upon this place. And through the oral traditions, there have been many stories that have been placed through the history of time of the mankind that has been here. But you are right. Mankind, as you know, has not been upon this land and walked upon this physical land for many years. Before that, there were those that were connected with the Lemurian ways. There were also those from the stars. Many would come in this place to seed it with crystals, seed it with health, minerals, vegetation, animal life that was not to be found elsewhere. The reason for this is that they knew that in one time of your linear history, Once this land was discovered by the humanoid form, that these strange creatures would act like a magnet, would act like a calling card to pull in many more to walk this land, to investigate this land. And so in preparation for that, both those who have known of the Lemurian ways, monitored, prepared, and in ways much similar to the ways of today of your farming, they placed within your Gaia, your New Zealand, much that is still yet to be birthed. This is why you will walk in many places and you will hear seemingly a voice, and then it is gone. A whisper. And you turn to catch what has been said, and it is gone. Or you will walk somewhere and you will think, these rocks do not belong here. Why are they here? They are not supposed to be in a farmyard. They are from the ocean. Why are they here? And so it is that there have been many things that have been placed by those who are before you, human and non-human, in preparation that when you are of the awakened state, that as you begin to feel in the energies and speak and talk to your Gaia, that you will hear what is being said, what has been kept secret, and what has been revealed. For there has been many things that have been upon this land that are still veiled. And those veils will only be lifted at the right time. Many are eager for things to be exposed, for secrets to be made new, and all to know. And this will happen. But the secrets of this land will yet be unearthed when it is correctly timed. For your linear time would not be able to withstand all that is discovered. So there are many things upon this land that attract others from distant lands and bring them into this place. Many come for different reasons, but there are those that know that they are to come to this land. And some arrive not knowing why they have come, but when they land upon the soil and they touch it, the voice of this land speaks to them, and forever their hearts are joined. So what is it that attracts many to this land? It is the heartbeat. It is the heart. And where is the heart, my friends? The heart of your land is in neither of the south nor the north island, but it sits between. And this is where it expresses itself in many ways. Your heart of your land speaks to you. Listen to what it says. And you can feel the vibration of this heartbeat in many ways. Through your nature, through your energy, through the divine being connected to your source that you are. And the message that this land will tell you will come through in dreams, knowing, and perhaps in conversation. But this land was protected for many eons before the first humanoid stepped on this land.
Can you tell us about the people pre-Waitaha, where they came from, who they were, why they came?
This name, the Waitaha, was given to those of the descendants of those who first arrived. And these have come from many lands from over your waters. They came with the decision of no longer being at battles, at wars with their neighbours. And they came from many tribes. They came from the colder climates. They came from what you now call the Americas, the uttermost parts of that area. They came from the people groups that hunted the seal and the whales up in the northern hemisphere. They came from those from across your waters, not on the island close to you that you call the Australia, but from beyond that. All these people groups, even from the central continent that you call the Africa, there were those that decided that they too were tired of this way of continual bloodshedding. And within them was birthed the desire for peace. And they knew that it was not to be found in the land that they were in. And so they journeyed. And they found their way individually and together to this place. When they arrived here, they found their travelling companions were not always who they thought they were. Because the birth of the desire for peace was given to them through the conversation and discussion of one that had grown close to them in friendship. One who had arrived that was not of their tribe, not of their people group, but had been accepted. This was the star person connecting with the certain group, the certain culture that was called to this place. So not one can claim, shall we say, ownership. Ownership belongs to the Lemurian, if you wish to say that this man or this woman owns this land. But there are many that gathered and created a life of peace successfully. And once they had maintained this peaceful way for many, many years, generations, they took it with them when they travelled back over the waters. For they felt and desired that if they could then manage this way of life, it would be accepted, it would be received in many other places. In some places, their gift of peace was accepted. In other places, they were decimated. But those that they chose to leave behind still carry on with that plan of peace and the way of peace.
Somehow I get the feeling that I've come, and I'm sure others may have this too, I don't know, I can't be the only one that has this feeling that I've come to collect something that I left eons ago or planted eons ago, in particular in this part of Gaia, New Zealand. Can you explain what that may be or what that is about, that deep knowing?
That is that which you left behind, the knowing of the way of peace. It is this that you have returned, so to say, in your wording, to collect, that you may take it forward. For the ways that have been lived before cannot maintain for much longer. There needs to be a new way of life, a new way of your living. Human, you know this, we know this. It is up to you and us through you to communicate this new way of being to those who think that they have your best interests at heart. Is it not time to live your way of peace? Is it not time that you live as you know? I am being chided by other members of the council for my rhetoric. They are telling me that this is not the time or the place. You see, this is how we are in the council, where we speak our heart to those that we are before. And we have the freedom to also hear what others desire and think and debate with us. This is, in truth, the way of life that you all desire. The freedom to be in that unity of togetherness of heart. Where though you all may be, as you call it, different, unique, individual, but truly you are not, because you are all of the heart, and the heart knows no difference. The heart knows no uniqueness, individuality. It knows love. It acknowledges that yes, you are a essence of being. It acknowledges that you are your own divinity. And it will never force, and it will never demand. But it will lead, it will show by example, it will ask, and it will love. And this is how we, the council, sit before you and before ourselves. And this is what you remember. This is the life that you remember. For some of you have lived this life, both here and with us. Come now. Surely there are others that have answers and questions and debates.
I've got a question. You mentioned before that the heart of New Zealand was sitting between the two islands. I wondered what kind of effect that had on Wellington, and is there anything that we could do to help Wellington in its journey?
The heartbeat will touch that which is closest to it first, and the tremors will go through the body. If you are concerned as we are not, then you need to allow that love and that heart within the Wellington to grow. And how do you do this? By being the expanded being that you are. And to connect with Gaia and to connect with those that are of like heart and like mind within yourself. And be of essence connected there. And when you resonate at a certain level, and when you hear the voice of Gaia saying, there is unrest, perhaps it may reflect itself within your weather patterns, then connect with her as an individual, as a group, as a network, as a body. Connect that the heart may not race, but be steady. But the heart will not seek out to bring harm or disruption. The heart always seeks to love. But as you all know, sometimes there are those who will resist love, who will think that they are unworthy of that love. But love will still come, because love knows no other thing and no other way of being than to give of itself. And this is the way of the heart. And you who sit before me, not only experience this within your own self, your own essence, but know that the words that we speak are truth. Your Wellington, dear heart, is not in immense pain at this moment. She is well. She may get a little cold, but she is well. Is that human?
The people of peace that you mentioned that lived here, how do they relate to the Maori tribes that we know of? Because in our history books they are not depicted as being particularly peaceful.
Indeed they are not. And I said as well in the story that I communicated that when the ways of peace were taken out by those that lived here, they were decimated as well as accepted. And those that saw that these people came with good food, strong boats, they went back to where they came from, followed them, and found a land that was ripe, fertile, ready. And they moved and became the people of this land. And as their oral stories are so intermingled with the stories of the people that were here, which came from the stars, which came from the Lemurians, their oral stories will tell you that they are connected with the star people, and this is true. And even they will tell you that they were not the first ones on this land, that there was yet another tribe, but this tribe no longer exists. But I say that it does. This tribe does exist. It exists in the heart of many, and it has returned through rebirth in the hearts of many. So yes, while man has written history in one way, I would ask, dear one, that you would look within your own heart and within your own energy, within this own land, and hear what this land says to you. But there are many here that know the way of peace. These people that you refer to are warriors. But even amongst these warriors are warriors of peace, who are seeking out the peaceful ways. For they too have grown to the time that in their eyes, the time of bloodshed, fighting, is over. So they are returning in the circle, so to say, to the way of peace, to which they were introduced.
After the great changes here on Earth that we are aware of, and the great trials to come, will there be a more spiritualised Earth plane here for those in the future, or hopefully we'll learn that the spiritual is more important than the material, that in the future there is hope for better, that
Absolutely.
for people to reincarnate here and grow as they should have? Or should.
This new energy world that is birthing, that is coming about, is a world where the old ways will not sit, which is why your people have been told many times these messages that your government systems, your financial systems are failing. And why we come in, not only as we the council, but many others around that you hear of. There are many that will tell you that there is a new way of living, a new way of bringing about community, lifestyle, giving and sharing, expanding. And yes, dear heart, there will be an expanded way of living. There will be a way that will be of peace, where ones who are in that time will realize that self-gratification for selfishness is no longer needed, but one can be pleased and satisfied and complete within the full expansion of their own essence, and thus do not need anything to complete them other than connection to Source, connection to Gaia, connection to heart, and then connection to those of likeness. And there will be peace. This is the potential of all. This is our vision, this is our heartbeat. But as you should know, all humans, how you react, how you respond, how you work with that which is before you within the changes affects the outcome. And already you have made great changes. Changes that we did not think that you would have the courage to make, but you have. Continue, and you will see great things. We ask if there are any other questions, for we realize our energy within this body is taxing. So let us continue for a short while longer in these discussions, for it is good.
Could you tell us about the ring of fire?
The ring of fire. It is burning. It is bubbling. It is active. And there are times when Gaia will turn round and spew out that which is no longer serving her. Or she will shift and change to create new things. And while she does not wish or desire to bring damage or harm to the human race, sometimes because of where you have built and placed your dwellings, there is damage. And she has moved in this way and in these places for many, many eons, and she does not understand why you keep rebuilding in the same places and re-hurting yourselves.
Hi, this is Lou James, and I'm going to encourage you that if you found this message to be beneficial, or any other message that we brought through beneficial to you, please visit our website on www.ascensionexplorers.com. Go to our donate page and donate to us. This will enable us to keep things like this coming to you free of charge. So please, if we've been able to assist you, I ask that you would reciprocate the energy exchange and donate to us so we can keep coming to you. Thank you.